Hey guys, welcome back to Tower of Fantasy. In today's video, we're going to be doing a PvE tier list for the game. But before we get into the list, I just wanted to say a massive thank you to you guys for the support. We did a 6-ish hour stream today and we had about 50,000 people through the stream, which is like completely mind-blowing to me. The supportive comments on the videos, I've just really appreciated it. And honestly, the Tower of Fantasy community has just been fantastic. So as a bit of a thank you, we're going to do a $100 giveaway in this video. To enter, just be subscribed and leave a comment on the video and you'll go into the draw. About a week from now, I'll do a raffle on one of the random comment picker websites and announce it in a community post and give the winner instructions to get the prize. But guys, like, honestly, it's been ridiculous. I really appreciate the support, and honestly, I'm just having a hell of a lot of fun with Tower of Fantasy at the moment, and now that Global's here, it's even better. Now, I waited until Global was actually here and we were playing the game so we could know what came to Global, what changes were made. There was a lot of data mining going on, and now we actually know what we have on Global. And the way I look at it is Global is its own thing from CN. We can look at playstyles and all that sort of stuff from CN, but due to release schedules, not knowing what characters we will get, not knowing what other changes they will make to numbers, I feel like we've really got to just play the Global as a Global version and just play it as it comes, because they have shown that they're doing it different, which I actually like, adds a bit of spice to it, so we're not just trying to follow the CN meta. On top of that, this is just my opinion, so obviously take it with a grain of salt, and no matter what any tier list says, the most important thing is to have fun. So I think the most important thing overall, instead of like how strong a character is their playstyle and if you enjoy it, because if you often go for meta that you don't enjoy, you'll probably end up dropping it because you're not having fun, because fun is the most important thing. So first up, I'm going to go into the S tier first, and we're going to start off with Nemesis. Now, Nemesis did get a nerf from CN version. Her resonance is reduced from 20% damage down to 15% damage, but it's still a really nice buff. It's still a large effect, and she is just very strong. Her damage got nerfed as well from her 3-star, but, you know, she still does really nice damage with those electrodes. Even if you only have her at 1-star, she can bring out the electrodes with her discharge ability or her manual skill. And even if you don't have 1-star and you have her at 0-star, she's still going to bring out those electrodes with her discharge ability. So she's a really nice one to change into. She brings that extra support, buffing your the damage of your Volt damage dealers, and also bringing those electrodes to deal some damage. And then you can just do a couple dodges, get the healing rolling, swap her back out, and away you go. She's just a very, very functional healer. And at the moment, especially with that buff of the resonance, she's going to dominate what I see most meta players doing in PvE, especially once they start starring her up. But even with 0-stars or 1-star, she is going to be fine. Now, next up in the S tier, we're going to put in Samir. Now, Samir goes in here because she's going to be Nemesis's best friend. I don't know how to say Nemesis plural, but ownership, whatever you mean. Anyway, she's going to be the best friend of Nemesis. Most players are going to want to go her. She's really strong. She's got good AoE. Especially for AoE type fights, she's fantastic. She just helicopters in the air, doesn't get damaged. She's got a really nice discharge ability along with active skill that can do some really nice damage and keep shocking. Just all around great character and very user friendly, and I think a lot of people will just be pairing her with Nemesis. She gets the buff, so she's going to be fine. The fantastic thing about Samir as well is you don't even need star ups into her. She just works really well. Her key function of what she does is just tied into her basic self or the weapons, and so you really don't need the star up, so that makes her even more viable in my opinion. So she goes into the S tier, and the final one that I'm going to put into the S tier is going to be King. Basically, these three are going to round out the S tier because they're a really solid comp for DPS, like the most solid comp you need. And at the end of the day, even though tanks and healers are useful in certain content, a lot of the time DPS is going to be your most important thing as well. So King having the shatter to go with these two characters, Samir having the charge, and Nemesis swapping in for the support. He's just got the highest shatter in the game, and being a DPS, he can just shatter really, really hard. So he's going to go in there. 1-star is really nice, so when you do shatter, because especially in a team like this, if we had Nemesis, Samir, and King, you know, he's always going to do the shattering, and to get the extra damage from his 1-star is nice, but even if you have him at 0-star, he is still going to be fine and very, very functional. So moving into the next tier, which is the A tier, let's kick Meryl in there first. So Meryl, in my opinion, probably the best tank that we have between her and Huma. I will talk about Huma in a second because Huma is definitely not bad by any means. But, you know, Meryl is one that just has really great shatter, and she's got a lot of finicky. You know, you can just hold her attack and she'll spin, be immune to CC and stuff like that, and she'll just not care what the enemy's doing and just smack them. Same when you use her ability, she just doesn't care what they're doing. She's just going to smack them, deal massive damage, and away you go. Now, if you do star her up, she'll start getting shields. Like at 1 star, she heals when she shatters shields. Also increases her shatter value. But then at 3 star, you know, she starts getting a shield when you swap in, which is really handy for her as well. But really, you can play her with 0 stars and she will work fine as a tank. But she also deals some nice damage, so great for solo play as well. And in that top team of Nemesis and Samir, you can definitely swap her in for King, and that team will work really fine for most content. It's just that you do lose the DPS resonance of having 2 DPS weapons. So keep that in mind. Next up, we have Coco. So Coco, I also put it in the A tier. Reason being, she's a really, really amazing healer. Her heals follow her, whether it's her ability or her discharge ability. Just really solid heals. If you get her to 1 star, she gets the bees that do added healing. Just a really solid all-round healer. Plus, being Frost has the chance to freeze, and her juggling from her basic ability is really nice, just to control, you know, just annoying little mobs. She has high charge value as well, so, you know, you can swap her in, do some CC on the little annoying mobs, and then just charge up, and then do a discharge and swap out if you have to. So just Coco, just all-round a great healer. The next one we're going to put in is going to be a Tsubasa. Now, even though Tsubasa got a massive nerf, if you have a really solid core team, I still think she's going to be a fantastic support to buff your team's damage. She also has the added fact, like, if you get it to 1 star is really nice. Other than that, you can get it to 3 stars so that her dodge attacks are shooting 3 arrows. But honestly, 1 star is where she starts getting her buff. It did get nerfed from 8% per stack to 5%. At 1 star, it stacks up to 3 times. At 6 star, it stacks up to at what is it, 5 times? I might have missed it. No, yeah, 3 and 5. I'm pretty sure it is. So, you know, she can deal some nice damage and get the control, and she has decent charge, but it's also about the fact that she can buff your damage for your team, which is where she comes in, and she can be a really good supportive buffer into like some damage set teams. So that is Tsubasa. Moving on from that, let's go into Zero. Zero, I'm putting it into the B tier. Now, when we go into PvP, he's definitely going to be higher because I hold shields with more value. I just feel like in raw healing capacity, Coco is a bit better. But if you're going to play a raw healer, if you have Nemesis, you can go with Zero as well, and you are going to be fine. He's got the shields, he's got some buffs, but overall, as just a basic support, I just feel like Coco is a little bit better. And both of them, I'm comparing them both at 0 stars just to get it balanced on the way that I'm rating those two. So I would put him just below Coco. If there was like a B+ tier in between, he would probably be sitting there, but you know, we've only got so many tiers. Next up is Huma. Now, Huma's the other one that I was talking about. If you get her to 1 star, she starts getting some more damage mitigation, but she's perfectly fine at 0 stars. She's got this shield where she can just put her shield down. Like if she's in shield mode, you just hold it and she just gets just straight damage mitigation, which is fantastic. On top of that, when you use her ability and swap her into axe mode, she's going to put this flaming she's going to light the ground on fire, and it's going to deal some really nice damage. On top of that, she does have 10 shatter and 10 charge, which is reasonable for both. Just the thing is that I put her down a little bit just because Meryl just sort of is more of an expert in just high damage shatter. And so she can do that job and then swap out. Whereas Huma's more of a jack of all trades where, you know, you can do some shattering. It's going to take you long to shatter. You are going to get charged up as well by the time you probably get that shatter. But she's not specialized in that one role. But she is sort of the jack of all trades. She can mitigate damage. She can deal nice damage. She can charge. She can shatter. It's just she doesn't specialize in anything. That's why I put her there. But still a fantastic tank and one that I've played, one of my main tanks in my personal account on CN. Next up, we have Crow. Now, Crow is going into the B tier as well. Honestly, Crow could go SAB depending on upgrades and depending on the enemy fight and depending on a lot of things. So Crow really wants his upgrades to make himself effective. At 1 star, he starts prioritizing his backstab attacks, and then he gets extra crit and crit damage. Then at 3 star, he deals extra damage to enemies that are below 60%, and he can just really get his max potential once you get him to 6 star. But Crow is one of those ones you're going to want to use aerial attacks because his aerial attacks are strong, and you're going to want to be behind the enemies all the time. So it's a bit finicky trying to do aerial attacks attacks from behind, especially if enemies are moving. Having said that, in most PvE fights, hopefully they're standing pretty still. You can get behind them and it's not too bad. But because he does need those upgrades, that's why I put him in B tier, but he could definitely creep up to an A or even an S tier if he's maxed out and played well. So that is Crow. And the final one we're looking at is going to be Shiro, putting her in the B tier. Now, Shiro as a pure shatter character, she doesn't have a high level of shatter. She can burst shatter. However, if you swap into her and you use her ability, which puts a ring out, and then you do like 3 dodge attacks and you get a bunch more chakrams bouncing around, you can actually get some really high burst shattering capacity. And also when she does shatter, if you get her to 3-star, she will reset all your ability cooldowns, which is really nice. The reason she's down here in B tier is that there's just easier raw shattering methods with King and Meryl. And the fact that you really, if you're going to use her, you really want to have her at 3-star, because if you're going to bring her, you want that extra ability. Having said that, at 1-star, she can buff the damage that your allies can deal. So that is also really nice. So having her at 1-star, if you're running like a healing team, say you're running like Nemesis and Coco, and you can slap Shiro in there, or if you're running Zero Coco and slap Shiro in there as a support, she's sort of going to help buff your teammates' damage, which is really nice, especially if you've got like a really heavy damage dealing whale on your team or something like that. Being able to put Shiro in there just to straight buff their damage is going to be really, really strong, and that's her main thing. But like I said, you do need her at 3-star. But Shiro, she's my girl. I'm going to work really hard on her and try and get her up there. So now we're going to jump into the SR characters. Now, all these SRs, they're not going to, I'm just going to place them and have a quick talk. So this is the placements that I would do for them. And I want to talk about why, because something like NA can actually be up higher. Like maybe, like, I don't think she really matches Huma, but like these guys aren't horrible, but I'm putting them all in the bottom 2 tiers because of the investment that you have to put into their weapons in PvE. In PvP, it'll be different. We can put these guys up rankings because you don't have to invest into their weapons. But it's just the fact that eventually you're gonna stray away from these guys, and you don't want to put that investment into their weapons and take away from the upgrades that you could put into other weapons that you might pull in a couple days time or a week's time, especially as you're grinding through the main story and you're getting all the first time exploration rewards. You're going to really phase yourself out of these guys. So I'm putting them down here because you don't want to invest too much of them. Now, Pepper, Bai Ling, and NA are the best 3 out of the SRs. NA is just a really solid tank. And Ice as well, really strong charge ability and stuff like that. Bai Ling, decent with headshots if you can start getting some headshots. And Pepper's like pretty much the same as Coco, got the same juggling ability, but because she's electric, not ice, she can't get the freezes, and her heal is like a fixed area. It's just, she's just not as good, but they're all decent, so you can get away with them with low level weapons, like maybe maxing out at like 40 or 50 early game if you're really struggling for other characters. And then down the bottom we've got Echo and Hilda. Echo's just really clunky in PvE. I don't mind her in PvP. I've actually been playing her a bit the last few days in the CN version, and she's really quite solid with the spear, but that's for another tier list. But in PvE, she just really lacks in the raw damage. Her shadow's okay, but it's not great, and she got no, like, her AoE is really short, so she just sort of doesn't really stand up. Now, if I had an E tier, I would put Hilda down there. I cannot figure. I wish one day someone will find out how to play Hilda and be godly with her, but you know, you use her ability and she basically locks herself in place and she's just stuck there getting smacked. It's really awkward. It's a cool weapon. I hope they make an SSR with this type of weapon that actually works. But for now, I just can't find a way to play Hilda. So she is sitting in the bottom. But anyway, that is going to be my tier list for PvE in the game. We'll reassess a PvP tier list in the future. But let me know what you guys think. Like I said, these things are all subjective. This is from my personal experience in the game. I'm not the greatest player in the world, but you know, everyone's asking me, so that is my opinion on a tier list for the current meta at the launch of Global. Keep in mind, this will change over time as we get new characters, any buffs and nerfs, but I just wanted to wait until we got the changes on Global to see what we actually had before I put this out there. But anyway, guys, thanks for watching. Hope you have an awesome day, and I look forward to seeing the next one. Cheers.